The Philadelphia Eagles have been extremely active all season long. Why stop now? Philadelphia has been aggressive throughout the season, and the roster absolutely doesn't look exactly as it did when the Eagles first faced off against the Green Bay Packers in Week 1. The Eagles and Packers will face off in the wild card round of the National Football League playoffs on Sunday, and the Eagles made 3 more roster moves ahead of the clash, the team announced. We have signed tackle guard Brett Toth to the active roster, signed wide receiver Joe Negata to the practice squad, and placed offensive lineman Jack Driscoll on injured reserve, the team announced. Toth is a 3-year National Football League veteran who has spent time with the Eagles and Carolina Panthers. He last appeared in an NFL game in 2023 as a member of the Panthers. He is just 28 years old and has spent the season on the practice squad for Philadelphia. Nagata is a 24-year-old pass catcher who played his college ball at Clemson. He was signed by the Eagles as an undrafted free agent in 2023 and has been waived and re-signed to the practice squad a few times. Driscoll is a 5-year NFL veteran who has spent all 5 seasons with the Eagles. He appeared in 13 games with the Eagles throughout the regular season. Philadelphia will welcome the Packers to town on Sunday, and it is continuing to make moves left and right. Philadelphia Eagles safety Reed Blankenship. We tend to think of Vic Fangio as the master and ultimate dispenser of quarters coverage, and there's a lot to that from a historical perspective. The Eagles' legendary defensive coordinator has half the league copy-pasting his cover 4 stuff at any given time. But Philly's outstanding defense has not led with Fangio's allegedly primary construct. In fact, the Eagles have lined up in cover 4 just 18% of the time this season, and they've been in cover 1, man coverage with a single high safety, more often, 22%. And they really lead with cover 3, zone coverage with a single high safety, which they do 35% of the time. Fangio isn't going to change his priors without the personnel to have it make sense. And here's one thing for sure. The Eagles are outstanding when playing single high coverage. Only the Houston Texans, 71.7, have a lower opponent passer rating when playing cover 1 or cover 3 than the Eagles' 73.0. Obviously, if you're going to play that much single high coverage, you need a great deep safety. It could be said that the Eagles have 2, C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship. Gardner-Johnson is the more well-known name, but both he and Blankenship have lined up in the deep third on 602 snaps this season. And when he's in any kind of single high stuff, Blankenship has allowed 13 completions on 19 targets for 127 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. That includes an interception on a pass that Jordan Love tried to get to tight end Luke Musgrave over the middle in Week 1 when the Eagles beat the Packers, 34-29. Eagles-Packers film preview, reasons for optimism and reasons for concern. BGN. I think the Packers' offense is a little hit or miss. They will miss Christian Watson, as the depth at wide receiver isn't great. They have top 5 potential, but they have been too erratic this year, which has led to them running the ball a lot. I think the Eagles' defense matches up really well with this offense, and I think the defense should go into this one feeling confident. However, Jordan Love is a bit of an enigma who can do crazy things. If he has one of those games where he turns it on, the Packers could be tough to stop. Jason Kelce's retirement from the NFL following the 2023 season was a sobering experience for Philadelphia Eagles franchise quarterback Jalen Hurts. Kelce, 37, spent 13 years in the NFL with the Eagles, winning 1 Super Bowl and reaching another. Alongside Hurts, he took on his younger brother, Travis Kelce, and the Kansas City Chiefs. The center had a close relationship with Hurts during their 4 seasons together at the Eagles, proving to be an effective member of the Philadelphia offense, getting the ball to Hurts and blocking. Kelce earned 7 Pro Bowl selections and 6 first-team All-Pros for his efforts. However, his retirement following last season's NFL wildcard defeat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a rude awakening for Hurts in the Eagles' locker room. Kelce's veteran presence often shielded Hurts, the quarterback has admitted. Any worries that Kelce shouldered and dealt with were shifted onto Hurts. I think, in the end, when you look at this upcoming season and what you have seen in past years, it's just a different autonomy in different places, Hurts admitted to 94.1 WIP last year. We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn over the years kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey and this opportunity. At the start of 2024, the Eagles appeared to suffer early teething problems. They were 2-2 after 4 games, and pressure seemed to mount on head coach Nick Sirianni. However, Philadelphia lost just one of their remaining 13 games, winning the NFC East over the 12-5 Washington Commanders. Hurts threw for 903 yards and 18 touchdowns while scoring 14 rushing touchdowns. The offseason acquisition of Saquon Barkley also took the Eagles to new heights, with the running back rushing for over 2,000 yards and 15 total touchdowns. The Eagles will host the Green Bay Packers this weekend in the first round of the NFL playoffs. Hurts is touch and go for this weekend's game after suffering a concussion in the first quarter against the Commanders on Deca 22. "We've got so much faith in him and the things he can do," Sirianni said Monday on 94.1 WIP. "This is why you practice the way we practice. Practice is high intensity. We feel like we have a great practice plan, and our guys go about their business in practice very game-like. That's where you work out your kinks or anything that you have, just being locked in and focused all week. We've got a lot of faith in Jalen as he gets ready to play the football game." If things go well, the Los Angeles Rams could be on a collision course with the Philadelphia Eagles. But one thing loomed that could derail that before the Rams' playoffs began. With Matthew Stafford's wife, Kelly, and their kids all dealing with the flu, she stated earlier in the week that if she had to move out of the house for the week with her kids so Matthew wouldn't get sick, then she would. The last thing the Rams want is for Stafford to come down with the flu and either not be able to play or not be at 100% if he does play. Well, now, Kelly has provided an update on the sickness that had engulfed the Stafford house, posting on Instagram that there are now no fevers in the house and haven't been for the last 24 hours. So the Rams may have just dodged a season-ending bullet, with Stafford now in a good position to miss out on the flu and be cherry ripe for the postseason. With the Eagles the number 2 seed, there was every chance that they would meet the Rams if both teams did what they are expected to do. But if Stafford was ruled out with illness or he wasn't fit, then the Rams' chances would suffer. First up for the Rams, of course, is a meeting with the Vikings. A Monday game moved to Arizona due to the LA wildfires. But once we get to the actual football, maybe a needed distraction for some from the tragedy. Now, we know that teams say they want to play each team at full strength, but if a Super Bowl is on the line, they would prefer not to play Stafford. And that now appears unlikely as Kelly and her kids are now fever-free. Meanwhile, the Packers are still dealing with a couple of lingering injuries. Safety. Zane Anderson, concussion, is set to miss his second consecutive week of action, while receiver Christian Watson, knee, has also been ruled out for this week. 5 other players, defensive end Brenton Cox Jr., foot, tackle Andre Dillard, concussion, defensive tackle TJ Slayton, ankle, middle linebacker Key Walker, ankle, and safety Evan Williams, quadricep, are questionable for Sunday's game. Walker and Williams are every down players for the Packers, when healthy, who have missed the past couple of games due to injury. Walker and Williams were both limited participants in practice throughout the week. After the game, Graham told reporters he might have taken the final snap of his 15-year NFL career. But the next morning, he didn't act like someone who planned on retiring. He asked Hargrave for advice on the rehab process and what to expect from the surgery, among other topics. "I would not be surprised," Hargrave said about Graham coming back for his 16th season. "I be telling him all the time that in his 15th season, he was balling. Still got a lot of juice left. If Philly wants him back, I'm pretty sure he would. That boy will play forever, honestly." During their 30-minute call, Hargrave said that Graham was more worried about what he could do to help his teammates prepare for their Week 13 game against the Baltimore Ravens than he was about the injury. Philadelphia Eagles. What makes the Eagles so frightening is the multiple ways they can win. Philadelphia is the only team in the league to rank in the top 6 in both offensive and defensive EPA per play, and it is just dotted with talent up and down its roster. On offense, Kellen Moore's group boasts the 3rd highest-graded offensive line, powered by Jordan Mailata, the highest-graded player in all of football. The Birds can gash you via Saquon Barkley and the run game, where they're third in EPA per play and second in yards before contact per attempt. And they can just as easily punish corners with a pass game featuring A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who both rank top 13 among receivers in PFF receiving grade. Meanwhile, Philly's defense is elite at all three levels, ranking first in success rate. Ghosts of last season's wildcard exit in Tampa Bay could linger, but this Eagles team feels like it's in a significantly better place than a year ago. A limitation could be Jalen Hurts and his play under pressure, where his 43.5 PFF grade is 25th out of 30 qualifiers. But Philly has every opportunity to at least reach the NFC Championship. Johnson is generally regarded as the best OT in football. Somehow he was voted second-team All-Pro at RT, behind Penei Sewell of the Lions. Apparently, Johnson wasn't happy about that, as you can tell by the page he posted in his locker. I'm excited to see what this Eagles team does. This is a talented group that has the potential to win the Super Bowl. They could also lose on Sunday. Green Bay is a talented team that actually finished higher in the DVOA rankings, third, than the Eagles, fifth. The road to the Super Bowl won't be easy. The NFC is loaded. If the Eagles are truly a great team, they'll find a way to win the games. That's what makes the playoffs special. Great teams do great things. They make history. Players become legends. Whoever thought Nick Foles would outduel Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl? The Eagles have the players to go on a run of their own and make history. It will be fun to see if they can pull that off.